Hey guys, have you ever wanted to play as an officer of the law? Like maintaining law and order in a city that knows none? Serving and protecting the innocent and the vulnerable from those seeking to exploit and do harm? Profiling select individuals to abuse your power to your convenience? Well, I don't know if you're ready, but I'm gonna talk about Ready or Not, a game that has been sitting in my library for a while now that I think about it, and totally wasn't reminded of its existence thanks to the Game Awards show that went live early December that was in no way, shape, or form kinda fucking lame. I will never forgive Jeff Keighley for robbing Pizza Tower of the debut indie game, even though I'm sure he had nothing to do with the voting process for the entire show. Or so I'm told. Ready or Not is a tactical first-person shooter that was made and published by Void Interactive that was in early access for almost 2 years, only to be finally released by the end of this year, by the time of this recording at least. Of course, I guess it is good to mention that my focus for this totally unique and creative review for the game is on the single player, aka Commander mode, because playing any multiplayer game with friendly fire enabled with randoms usually is a recipe for disaster. But Void, you silly goose, you dumb fuck, that's why you play with friends, Void. Don't tell me you have no friends, Void. Funny enough, I have actually played Ready or Not with friends on more than one occasion, but it doesn't take a genius to tell you that playing multiplayer games with friends makes the game 100 times better. Plus, even then, playing a game with friends tends to make the game quite silly. Yeah. Remember using pepper balls.
Ah, I am! Only don't penetrate!
Howdy do, Mr. Drug Dealer. 1 meth, please.
Ooh.
He moved to the right wall.
Yep.
Oh. Where is he going? Where is he going?
Oh, you fucking scared me. You see,
Yeah,
we
me
may
too.
be soldiers of the law, but I am a firm believer in justice. Hasta la vista, I missed. Hold on.
You get out from the table, please?
Stop
No.
resisting.
Please get out from under the table.
Right, anyways, short answer is Ready or Not is a pretty solid game. A game that 12 other people and I would say is the spiritual successor to the SWAT series, more specifically SWAT 4. The gunfights can be hit or miss because of the AI, and you have to be pretty cautious with your own movement and choices since that can make or break your attempt on the situation. Long answer is the rest of this video, so let's talk about it. In Ready or Not, you play as Judge, the commander of LSPD's SWAT team, being dispatched into multiple situations of varying difficulty and complexities around Los Sueños thanks to a massive spike in crime with 4 other members. Fun fact, this game leans heavily on realism since Void Interactive consulted with various police teams to refine and make it as realistic as possible while they were making this game, which I think that's pretty neat, not gonna lie. But before you jump into a mission, you can do a good amount of things to make sure you're fully prepared to go in, like changing out your weapons and gear, your teammates' weapons and gear, reading up on the briefing which gives you information on what's happening and some hints on what to expect, and so on and so forth. There are 3 weapon types to work with in Ready or Not. The 3 in question are assault rifles, submachine guns, and shotguns. The assault rifles are pretty much what everyone's probably going to be running around with, which is more or less perfect for the more open parts of the game, or just long range in general. SMGs for the more cramped maps, I really don't have much to say about them. And the shotgun for when you want to turn someone's skull into a fine red mist. Did I mention this game's got gore? There's also non-lethal versions of these weapons if you want to get a better score, which I'll talk about in a second. There's also gadgets and tactical devices you can use. If I'm gonna be entirely honest, I've only been using 2 of them. I'm sure the other gadgets, especially the breaching shotgun and ram, can be helpful since they can get you in the rooms a bit quicker, but of course, that's just me. But once you have that all figured out, you go into a mission that you chose and get to work. And let me tell you man, these maps really sell it to you. It really persuades you into believing that Los Sueños is a city that's slowly decaying from its former glory and slowly turning into a hellhole thanks to a plethora of things. All the maps in Ready or Not come with their own challenges and quirks for you to overcome, and as it turns out, all these missions are connected to other missions, which I think is pretty neat since they could have just made all the missions their own thing and just call it a day, but they didn't. I mean, one of these storylines starts out with you raiding a streamer's apartment who ends up having on his computer, which eventually leads to your team raiding an adult film director's house who runs the whole pedo ring for Los Sueños. Wild stuff, really. But besides the bits of lore and world building you can extract from the briefing logs, Ready or Not's lore also blends in some environmental storytelling into the maps to make Los Sueños just a bit more believable. They also have audio logs that you can find too.
The stage is set. They wouldn't come to me, so I went to them.
I have no idea if the other missions have audio logs, I just know the Schizo House has a couple of them. And when you do finish a mission, you can head to the evidence locker to finally top it all off, but the evidence you find is linked to the mission ranks. Speaking of which, whenever you finish a mission regardless of success or failure, you get a rank at the end. F is what you get for messing up an objective, leaving early, or just getting killed. All the way to S rank for hell yeah brother, which then unlocks new customization pieces to put on yourself to make yourself look cool for the next mission. I mean technically it would be A+, since S rank you need to go non-lethal, arrest everybody alive, and find all the evidence, which is easier said than done. Kinda stressful actually. Have you guys heard of the stress system? Ready or Not has a quirky mechanic called the stress system, where every time you finish a mission, your teammates' mental health takes a toll and you have to eventually send them to therapy so they don't quit. Personally, I don't have much to say about it, nor have a really intriguing opinion on it. The way I see it is more or less just a way to make sure you're using all the officers you have at your disposal. Plus, even then, I don't know if my copy of Ready or Not is personalized, but apparently on my end, which was normal runs first and then swapping to a full non-lethal setup, I may or may not have broken that system. As in, my teammates were pretty much locked at contempt for the whole time I was recording. Like hell, one of them died and they were just pretty much fine with that. Of course, Ready or Not has some issues like the physics being iffy at times, which can make finding weapons more of a chore than it should be. And yes, there is a way to make weapons easier to see in the options, so you can probably dismiss this as me needing to get my eyes checked. Then there's the AI, which to my knowledge got a massive overhaul back in November when it was in early access, which is great and really helpful. When they do the part, that is. There are some rogue moments where they don't follow orders, so you have to repeat it a couple more times, or your AI teammates cock block you so you have to order them to move out of the way, or in some cases, they're just far behind. The worst offense I've seen is when the SWAT AI gets completely bodied in one gunfight, maybe even from the same suspect they were all shooting at, which leads me to the other side of the fence with the suspect AI. I know Ready or Not is supposed to be a very difficult game that requires patience and planning, almost in a methodical sense, but I am not a patient man, nor a man of schemes. So I guess my gripes about the enemy AI can be dismissed as some form of a skill issue, and yeah, I guess that's plausible. But this is my video, so you're wrong. The suspects seem to have a knack for instant annihilation, almost at a point where I was questioning if the armor I had on was actually doing something, or if the LSPD skimmed out and got some Fisher-Price Kevlar vest because of how easy it is to die. But enough crying and ranting about how guns kill people. So I guess what I'm trying to say for those that didn't leave after the first 2 minutes of this video is, Ready or Not is a pretty solid game. You know, away from the flaws. It's definitely a tense game that I don't think you could simply breeze through. But when everything falls into place, it just feels all around great. Personally, one thing I would like to see in a later update, even if it's something that nobody really cares about, is when you go into the briefing table to pick a mission, I think it'd be pretty neat to be able to see what mission rank I've gone on it without the need to load in, you know, something like this. But that's just me and my obsession of being validated by strange symbols on a computer screen. Anyways, that's really it. The link to the game's in the description below, and may we never meet again. Now if you excuse me, I have to go and terrorize small children at a park with this thing of pepper spray I stole from an Amazon fulfillment center. Actually wait, what day is it? Oh. It's almost a new year. Happy New Year's, I guess. I am so fucking screwed when 2014 hits. Got this.
You got this.
It's either it's gonna blow up right in your face, or...
That doesn't sound